Hey, Crawlspacers, welcome to our Spider News for the first time of 2023. I don't think we've done one this year, so it's nice to get some Spider News. And my goodness, is there a lot of chat going on already? We haven't even started the show, but welcome, everybody. You guys are ready to talk Spidey on a Friday night, and I'm going to talk it with Sarah. What's going on, Sarah? How are you?
Oh, I'm fantastic. I'm excited to talk about what I did last weekend.
Yes, you. There's a new video on the front page of Sarah talking to the editor-in-chief about the Spider marriage. So you can see that, and we're going to talk about that as a news topic. We also have the man himself, JR. What's going on, JR?
I'm looking for razor blades right now.
Well, what, you got some stubble? I go through them pretty good up here.
No. I want to slit my wrist. We're entering a pop culture apocalypse.
Well, aren't you just a bundle of joy?
I'm sure
Wow.
George will agree with me. You know, I mean, Kurtzman got his contract renewed. 3 more Star Wars movies have been announced, and the MCU is circling the drain.
Wow.
So.
Wow. JR, what's making you happy? Me.
Well,
come on, bring it in, brother. Come on.
Maybe my Willem Dafoe Funko from No Way Home is making me happy. There we go.
That's making you happy. Very good. Very good. Well, what you said a name earlier. What name did you say? Because if you say it 3 times, he appears. It's not Willem Dafoe.
Oh, wait a minute. Is it
Somebody in Texas?
Yeah, I was about to say, is it somebody from the great state of Texas?
Yeah.
Someone who has a disproportionate amount of hair growth under his chin as opposed to the top of his head. Let's see. Someone whose cynicism nearly.
It's Paul, says Last Samurai. It's Paul.
Someone whose cynicism nearly matches my own, and whose loathing for all of mankind. So
you said it once. Say it 2 more times, and it'll appear.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
it's
you're
George.
The
What's
host.
up, George?
It's showtime. Good grief, JR. Hello, everyone.
I was trying to set that up, but he just wouldn't say George. There,
Well, I was afraid of what would show up.
Well, there it is.
You know, I mean, it's been so long since we've seen him. He probably has saved up so much kinetic energy that he's just going to absolutely blow us away. You know, I mean,
okay.
Well, I have to say though, I agree with JR. Everything is shitty right now.
Why? What?
Oh no, everything's falling apart like a wet paper bag, dude. You know, like Kathleen Kennedy is awful. She's like the worst person you could ever put in charge of Star Wars, and they're letting her do more stuff instead of showing her the door. And I'm like, you fired that Victoria Alonso gal. It's easy. Just send her a letter and say, hey, you're done. Clean out your desk.
Wow.
Bye. But no, they won't do it. They just keep doubling down and giving her things.
All right, you two. Hypothetical. You two are you? Well, no, Sarah's been positive. Me and Sarah are just happy-go-lucky people. You two, imagine you just turned on this podcast and you hear these guys. They're like, I want to slit my wrist. This is so bad. Everything sucks. So make them want to continue to listen to us. Go, George.
Brad brings the funny.
Yeah, boy.
Well, here's the thing. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, if you agree with us or don't agree with us, right? We're always entertaining.
That's true.
We always, even if we don't like something that you like, we'll back it up with why we don't. We don't just say, "Oh, this sucks." Yeah. Like, we have legitimate reasons why we believe something is great or why something is just like a fart in church. Right?
I got no segue for Bruce after fart in church. That's not a good way to.
I want to
segue into Bruce.
Hang on, I want to say real quick. I was glad that you pointed out Sarah's moment of walking into the lion's den.
Yes.
with Cebulski, which has had a trickle down effect across the fandom.
There you go.
But Bruce, we couldn't afford Bruce Banner.
Ah,
but
there it is.
But we still have another Bruce. We're not going to call him Discount Bruce. Because he's actually a really cool guy.
There he is. Bruce. Yeah. What's up, SpideyandMe.com? What's going on, sir?
Well, here comes Little Mary Sunshine, guys. So I'll try to bring the rays of the sun in there. But But George, you might be close to not being able to afford me anymore after you hear some of the news today.
Wow, what's going
Why?
on?
But the Crawlspace will always be my home, so you guys can always afford me. But I would like a raise, Brad. Can you put my salary for this year?
Can I Google your salary?
Double it.
Oh,
No.
did you get a raise today?
No, you're going to give me twice as much as usual. 2 times 0 is still 0. So
Yeah.
Whoa! Bruce is
Everybody
getting
gets
a
a
raise
raise today.
yeah,
Oh,
2 times 0.
woohoo!
Don't spend it all in one place, and you know inflation.
In this economy?
Yeah, no doubt. My goodness. All right, and also Mike is going to be joining us. So he is probably traveling home from work, so he'll join us shortly. So we'll have 6 cams on the screen. Couple things. Chat is going nuts, and it's kind of hard to keep up with it. There's a couple ways to get the attention of stand out. You can do the super chat. There's also memberships, etc. So you can check it out. Ryan says Sarah sets the city on fire. Mr. Comic says your generation got their 6 movies, George. It's time for the younger generation to have ours.
And that's and really, it doesn't have to be like a y'all or us kind of a thing. We
Yeah.
would just like the movies to not suck. That's all, and to actually be character driven, not story driven. I mean, it's a small thing. It's a little niggling thing,
How old are you, Mr. Comics 89? To
probably born in 89.
disparage the older generation, to disparage the generation that grew up, with the apocalyptic nightmares of the 70s, like Soylent Green and Silent Running, and
I would kill to
then
have the
Star
70s
Wars
back.
came on as a burst of sunshine and hope and heroism. And now we're watching it, flush down the drain. I mean, who are you to judge us?
All he's got is an LOL to that, JR. My man Walter, what's going on, Walter? Hope you're doing good, man.
Hey, what's up, Walter?
Good to see you, buddy. Let's see. We had another one from JR's fan club. We got Roboters 100 says, "Hey, webheads, I need some good Spider-Man news, but it's mostly I just come for JR and his Spider opinions. And by opinions, I mean the correct response when it comes to all things Spidey." So there you go, JR.
Yep, and
when's the
Roboters 100, that qualifies you for an official JR No Prize.
Wow.
Hey, we'll give him a Crawlspace raise too, Bruce. There you go. He gets a raise too.
The JR No Prize is better than what we used to have before. It used to be when you sent in something in praise of JR, you would get a pair of Crawlspace Fettinger brand underwear. Gently used.
Yeah. On eBay, we pay you. Sarah, your mom's here.
Hi, Mom.
Hi,
Mom's
Sarah's
in the
mom.
house.
I know your mom's probably proud of you after what you did.
Yeah, no doubt.
She actually said that today. I was like, why? And she's like, that must have been really hard to ask that question.
Ryan says that was really good underwear.
Only the best for you, Ryan.
Yeah. Jonathan's here for JR. Ryan, we came for JR. All right. Good Lord. JR's
Wow,
mom,
it's like I'm just dead now. It's like,
By the way,
oh, yay, JR's here. We came from JR. Oh, and
this is George to the new ones. He hasn't been on for a while. I would pay extra for the JR underwear stink. Oh, that's so gross.
I don't even think my family would pay for that.
Oh my God. Let's get on with it. Okay. We're starting off with the newest spider news that's affecting everybody. Not affecting everybody, but one that everybody's talking about. And Sarah, you've got this. We've got the trailer up in the Crawlspace across the Spider-Verse. And just to do a round of a survey, I think only 3 of us on this panel so far have seen the first one.
What?
JR, you've not seen it, have you?
No, I saw the first one, yeah.
Oh, you saw the first one. Did you like the first one?
Well, I gave it like either an A or a B plus, and you guys were absolutely stunned. Of course, so was I too. I mean, I didn't care much for the story, but it was a well produced. It was a work of art.
The only Academy Award winning Spider-Man film. So, and George, you still not seen it?
No, never will.
Okay. So I'm gonna play a little bit and we're gonna talk about it. So Sarah, what do you think of the new trailer?
So, I really liked all the
Sarah,
Spider
what do you think of the
people
trailer so far?
Can you hear me? Okay.
We can.
Okay.
I don't know why Brad's freaking
Yeah, I can
out.
hear you. It locked up on me. Hold on.
Oh, okay. All right. So you asked what I liked about the new trailers.
Go-
So I really liked all the Spider people that we saw, especially Scarlet Spider and the PS4 Spider-Man, Spider-Man Unlimited, and my favorite, Spider-Punk. And of course, we have to talk about the meme. Brad, do you happen to have the picture I sent you?
Uh-oh. You're asking him
doing
to
Facebook,
prep
but not
something.
easily available. I bet it's Spider-Punk.
Yeah. No, it's later on. We'll see it if we get through the whole thing. But I really liked all the Spider people that we saw. Some of them, it was hard to see in the picture, like who exactly they were. And there's this new take on Jessica Drew, which we saw in the beginning that just went past. We see the Spot in the trailer. I think this part's funny. He's like, no, you got to be kidding me. And like bread's falling out of his spot holes.
Yeah.
So
Out of his spot hole.
I don't know what else to call them.
Potholes.
I have
Now
no
that's
idea.
new. That's new.
And this
Spot
particular,
holes.
I'll never live that down now. Sorry, I said it.
No.
I'm interested to see if, based on the part in the trailer where Miles is talking to his parents about his grades. Well, I think it's the principal that's talking about the grades, but Miles is there. I'm interested to see if they actually find out that he's Spider-Man in this movie, because the principal says in the trailer, like, he's lying to you about something. So I'm curious what they think he's lying about, and then if we'll find out, or if they'll find out that he is Spider-Man. So we'll see.
Here comes the part where everyone's losing their mind, which, including our friend Kelly.
Peter B.
We
Parker.
have Mayday Parker.
Now, do they
Mayday
actually
Parker swinging.
do they actually
they
call
call
her
her
that in the
Mayday.
trailer?
Yeah,
They call her
Mayday.
Mayday in the trailer.
No
Mayday
wonder-
Parker swinging him. Look at that
wonder-
baby.
No wonder the Discord was lighting up about that, saying Marvel editorial must hate it.
I'm wondering who that is that Spider-Gwen is holding. It's hard to tell.
Well, it looks like.
It looks like Peter
it looks
B.
like
Parker
first
to
Spider-Man
me.
that when the lizard killed him.
But what's up with
it's
the
got
pants?
his like sweats.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pants do look a little different. I don't know. That looks a little too young for Peter B. Parker. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to tell,
No.
but I'm just curious who
Yeah.
that is. Who are we gonna
Yeah.
lose? I'm interested to see Spider-Man 2099's part in this movie, because the trailer really doesn't make it seem like he is the main antagonist, but I know that the Spot is supposed to be. So we'll see how that goes.
I have been a Spot fan for years. I always thought he was an underrated villain. I would have never thought he would be in a big motion picture like this.
Yeah,
And
I was
visually,
surprised.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Miguel? It looks like Miguel is the antagonist because he's trying to stop him from going back and doing something.
So I'm interested to see how it goes, but I'm not so sure about it, because perhaps it's just all the Spider people not agreeing on how to handle a situation. So maybe there's Miguel and the Spider people that are with him, and then, you know, Miles and the Spider people that are with him. I don't know if that's just like a disagreement or if there really is something more to that.
Right.
But I'm excited to see what the Spot does. I'm unlike you, Brad. I've never really thought of the Spot to be like a huge villain, so I was surprised when he was announced in the movie. But I mean, he has interesting powers. I'm excited to see what they do with it, especially with the animation.
Yeah. Let's open it up to the panel. Bruce, what do you think of it? What did you think of that trailer?
I thought it was pretty cool. I saw the first movie and I enjoyed it. You know, I'm not sure if I consider it a movie because I'm used to considering live action as a movie, but I thought it was kind of cool, especially for younger fans, just to let them see some of these other characters and get them excited about Spider-Man. You know, we've been excited about Spider-Man for so many years, and the OG Spider-Man and all those things. But an interesting thing, or to me it was interesting, I stopped in one of my local comic shops the other day, and the owner of the shop said, all my Spider-Man 29 has suddenly sold out. It's been on the wall. It's been on the wall for a number of years, like the first issue. And so it's kind of cool to see, you know, rejuvenated interest in the characters because of the movie. So we'll see what happens there. But there's a lot of Spider-Man. I know that.
Yeah, no doubt. And what do you think of the voice? What's the actor? He's Moon Knight. I can't think of the actor. Isaac something.
Oscar
I
Isaac.
don't know.
Oscar Isaacs. Yes.
Oscar Isaacs.
Yeah. I thought it was okay for
Yeah.
Miguel's voice. I thought that sounded pretty
Yeah,
good.
cool.
JR, thoughts?
Well, I was looking for Spider-Ham, but I guess he's still in rehab from his cocaine use. So
Okay, explain that joke to the masses.
do I have to? I thought it was self-evident, and Olivia Munn's
John
although Olivia
Maloney.
Munn's probably waiting for him. No,
He's a new father, Spider-Ham.
Spider-Ham.
Well, that sounds weird.
Spider-Ham. Well, because Brad assumes that you're all less intelligent than you really are. So basically, Brad is
that's
pulling a
it.
Bob Iger here in assuming. But the reason I made that comment is because the voice of Spider-Ham, John Mulaney. Let's see here. Went into drug rehab, dumped his wife, and got Olivia Munn pregnant. So I guess we're not going to see Spider-Ham in this movie.
Wow, welcome to the Spider-Man Inquirer. All right. If you got dirt, JR's got a shovel.
Did you guys catch the reference that Miguel Spider-Man 2099 made in the trailer?
I didn't. What did he say?
So he said that he referenced MCU's Doctor Strange
Oh, yeah.
and Spider-Man as the little nerd, and he said like the Earth number, and I thought that was pretty cool.
He mentioned Tom Holland and Doctor Strange, and they were like, those two messed up the whole thing.
Yeah, he was like making a stab at the well, I think making a stab at the way that whole storyline has been handled.
And I have no doubt that Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland, I mean, they could have just recorded their lines, a couple lines, when they recorded the last Spider-Man movie. I mean, there's no doubt that these guys are going to be in. Do you guys think that we're going to see appearances by those three?
I hope so.
Yeah. What? Anybody else, or do you not think we're going to have them?
I wouldn't be surprised if Holland makes an appearance, but I don't think the other two will. But again, who knows? Who knows?
It makes me wonder if the plot is going to be maybe Miguel has just come to the point, like many of us have, where he's like, there are way too many damn spider people. Maybe it's time to cull the herd a little bit. Maybe he starts murdering people. That would be great.
Well, apparently Dan Slott didn't get the message because Dan just created another one.
Oh yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
another one.
We'll talk about that.
Dan Slott.
Sarah, I've got your picture up. Do you want to try to name the spiders?
Nope. You can't tell how. Okay, so Spider-Man Unlimited, and then
Where?
top,
Oh, right.
middle,
Yeah,
yeah.
there.
But where's his
Yeah.
cape? Right, he has a cape. He has a web cape. Who knows where that is?
Yeah, true.
It's so small. It's hard,
It is. Like, look at
So
all of them.
Iron
There's
is that
depth
Iron
back
Spider
there, too.
in the middle? I don't even know.
Middle.
There's the spider armor somewhere in there.
The spider legging boots right there.
I don't know whose spider ass that is. Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
The thick.
yeah,
That's
yes.
thick spider. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can't see the
Yes.
stuff in the back, but this picture does make me excited because although I can't tell who the ones in the back are, there are going to be so many spider people in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
That and Spider Punk is a larger character in this movie based on what I've seen and the merch that's available. So I'm super stoked.
So we've had this debate before, and I want to hear your opinions on it. If you spread the brand too thin, like, does it make Peter Parker 616 less impressive or important?
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely, it does. It's.
I think it does too.
But at the same time, I mean,
Yeah.
this, I know a lot of people like this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but a lot of people apparently like this kind of thing. And this at least gives them something to look forward to and enjoy, spider related, since, they're probably not going to find it from the current comics right now.
Spider-Man has been spread out as opposed to Batman's got a family, and they've made more books from the Bat family. And now they've been doing that since the 90s with Miguel.
Well,
and then Spider Girl, and
I don't know that I'd ever consider Miguel really Spider Family, because like he's really just become Spider Family since Spider Verse has been a thing. He only outside of that he only met Peter like 1 or 2 times. You
Well,
know,
I'm talking
he
about
kind of
having
just
the-
did his own thing for a while. You know,
I'm talking about having the name Spider-Man, and it's a variation of Spider-Man.
oh well, God,
what
we've
I'm
been doing
saying.
that since Spider Woman.
Yeah,
We're
go
doing
back
that
to the
since-
70s.
Yeah, we've been doing
Yeah.
that since Spider Woman.
Is she the first variation?
Yeah, which is again another character who has jack all to do with Peter Parker, right?
Yeah.
Nothing to do with Spider-Man's universe. They just did it. They just wanted to do it. I think it was because they were scared of a rights issue or something like that.
Yeah, Stan Lee correct me if I'm wrong, he was worried that they were going to do a female Hulk and a female Spider-Man. So he real quick asked someone to create Spider-Woman, which I'm trying to remember who did that. But he wrote the first issue of She-Hulk with Big John Buscema. And so they beat and copyrighted the names Spider-Woman and She-Hulk.
At least She-Hulk had something to do with the character that she was a variant of, you know?
Yeah.
Are there any other characters? I only read Spider-Man, honestly. Are there any other characters that have had this sort of thing happen to them as far as Spider-Verse and all the
variations?
Variations, yeah.
There's Red Hulk, She-Hulk, Gray Hulk.
But not to the magnitude.
Not to this
No,
extent,
not to
no.
the magnitude. No. Yes, I agree. MJWP, as too many cooks spoil the broth. And Bruce, what do you think? Do you think too many Spider-Men and women make the original less impressive or?
Yeah, I definitely think so. But I think, like what other people were saying on the show tonight, and when I've been to comic book conventions and talking to other people, it makes it interesting for the younger fans. So, and I think that we need something for the younger fans. So I'm not opposed to having, Miles Morales, especially as a Spider-Man for people to attach to, and for some people, that's their only Spider-Man because that's what they've grown up with now. But it definitely kind of waters things down, and I would like to see it more streamlined because I'm an OG guy, but I can appreciate that new fans need something to be excited about as well.
And for diversity, and I mean, Spider-Man can represent anyone. So many people attach themselves to Miles Morales.
Absolutely.
A whole new fan have attached to them, not just to Miles. There's comic book fans, but there's also an even bigger population that love Miles Morales through the movies and the video games.
Yes, absolutely.
More people see that than ever the comics.
More power to them now. It's great.
And it's not a.
Well, isn't the Miles game just an extension of the Peter Parker game?
The second one is.
I had
it's
thought it was like a
continuation of the story.
continuation, but
It is.
except the focus was on Miles. So still, in that situation, they probably also played a video game with Peter Parker in it.
Well, they played the first one. I always say this is like Spider-Man 1.5. It's a little bit more than a DLC.
Yeah.
I think it was like $10 cheaper, but Peter is on vacation with Mary Jane, I think, in that game. So on the Miles game, and so he has to watch New York City for like a month or something. Then the story starts. So, JR, answer my question before we move on. Is 1,000, 1,000,000 Spider people make the original less special?
Well, for one, I mean, saying that the younger generation needs it, it's like saying that we need Star Trek Discovery to interest the younger generation in Star Trek.
Right.
It's like when I grew up, there was only one Spider-Man, and that's the way I liked it. That's the way it worked. That's the way the world worked. Didn't need any more.
Yeah, and in our day, one Spider-Man was all you needed.
That's right. And he was the center of the Marvel universe as far as, and now there's just and now he's just another. Basically, he's just become. But see, Marvel doesn't care. I mean, Marvel does not care because they are basically the Marvel and DC are both automobiles that the oil pan is dry, and they're going to run it until it finally breaks down. That's where we're headed. So,
well, when we were kids, I'm going to equate it to food. There was one Reese's peanut butter cups. Now you can get 100 variations of Reese's peanut butter cups,
and none of them are as good as the first one.
That's right.
No, literally, that's true. Listen, Brad. I've tried.
Yeah.
I've got one of the new Reese's Super King size
Oh, I
in my-
like them. They're
in my-
thick. They're
in my
real thick.
in my fridge right now.
Oh, here
Well,
we
no,
go.
it's like the one that's got 6 of them in there, right?
Yeah.
Like they did a 4, and that was the king size, and apparently 4 just wasn't enough. People were like,
Hey,
"No,
Mike.
I need a half dozen of these damn things."
Hello.
But like they put out all these other things where it's like, oh, it's Reese's Sticks or whatever, and it's
Yeah.
like a poor man's Kit Kat.
Well, then you're saying that the other Spider-Man variations are poor man Spider-Man.
Yes,
Okay.
I have always said that.
But you love you some Miguel and you love you some Spider-Girl, but
I
not
do
as
like
much as the
Spider-Girl.
original.
I do
Not as
like
much
Spider Girl. I mean,
but not
nobody.
as much.
Yeah, it's the original. I mean, all these things are like clone variations of the original. The original is always going to be the best one.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Did you see the comment about I forget who asked it about if we thought Miles's dad was going to die in the movie?
Oh, there you go. Jeffrey says that. What do you guys think? Possibly.
I think they're hinting at it. I think that's what McGill was. I think in the preview, that's kind of what they're talking about a little bit. That he's mentioned about, Spider-Man means about sacrifice, and so, and then they show clips of Miles's dad falling off a building. So you're thinking, so the choice is going to be, it's either he's got to save Miles has got to save his dad, but if he does, then that will probably cause maybe the Spot become even more super powerful instead of a lame villain like they showed him in the beginning there.
Mike,
So,
what's your thoughts on the trailer? We just showed it.
I kind of liked it actually.
Yeah, I did too.
I mean, again, it's the style. The stylistic approach. And a lot of it is, of course, kind of some of it is even more Easter eggy in terms of having the different variations in there or something like that. Because especially when you have you see the PS4 Spider-Man in there, and you see Ben Reilly showing up, and then you see they even have the thing what they did the point thing again, and they have they have the whole thing with the they even make a reference to the fact where the MCU Spider-Man is actually his designation because they mentioned about the wizard. So there's a lot more kind of seems like there's going to be a lot more in-joke kind of stuff in there for the fan stuff, so which is fine. I don't know whether it's going to necessarily top the original Into the Spider-Verse because that was kind of it's kind of like a unique kind of thing, and it was very but hopefully they'll still kind of maintain the same similar vibe and humor and pathos essentially that the first one had. I'm not sure necessarily, but I do know that this is kind of this was supposed to be a longer movie, and it's divided up in 2 parts. So how that's going to affect everything, I don't know.
Did they announce when the third one's coming out? Is it next summer? Because it's a 2-parter, right?
I thought it was going to be around Christmas time. I thought.
Oh, same year.
At least, I think
year?
so. I thought
interesting.
that was what the thing did. That's what they were doing. Because I remember.
I was in the can. Are we talking about the Spider-Verse thing? It's a 2-parter.
Yeah,
Yes,
it was originally when they had solicited the first time. It was part 1 and part 2, like the Avengers movies.
Yeah. So, and again, going back to the question we had about whether Miles' dad is going to die in this thing, I can see how they could probably do some kind of a cliffhanger kind of thing about around that. If let's say for something I don't know why necessarily Miles' dad has to die, and that causes a threat to the universe or something.
Well, it'd be a similar thread to Uncle Ben dying. So
Well, and that's what they
they
say in the trailer too. They say he has to choose between one person or the entire verse, Spider-Verse.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking
But
forward
it
to
is-
it. June. I'm there. I'm there for the Indiana Jones movie too. I think that looks good.
Oh my!
Oh,
Brad, Douglas,
Yeah, man, it looks great.
you
Are
will
we
see
making another
any. You will
You're
see
just
any
trolling
goddamn
now.
thing. Yeah, he is trolling. You're trolling. You're trolling. Admit to
No,
it.
I'm rolling. I got one more comment. Person says, Crawlspace, how do you feel about Baby May in the trailer? Because I'm so happy. Baby May. I think it was Ryan that said we need a Funko Pop of Baby May as a little toddler. I'm down.
Why
I'm excited.
did Baby May look like Annie?
Because that's kind of because they're trying to designate the show that it's the Mary Jane's her mom. I think that's the only reason why that Baby May has red hair in that.
Does that mean eventually Mayday's going to have red hair too?
Well,
Instead of brown hair?
You know, when I was born, I had red hair, and then I had brown hair, and then I had no hair. So Baby May can
I can see you as a soulless ginger, Douglas. I can.
soulless.
I can. It makes sense.
All right. On that note, let's go on to another topic. After everyone insults me, we move to a new topic. We're going to get through these in about 5 minutes. We've got, is this, who's got this one about next on the rundown? Let me look here. Bruce has it. Bruce, take me through the speculation here of ASM 25.
Speculation, and that's the key word there, Brad.
Yeah.
What's going to happen, and who's going to possibly die? I guess, the fallen friend and all that. So I know as much as the next person, which is next to nothing. We see some artwork that's coming out there, and supposedly the most dramatic event in the last 25 years of Spider-Man, and all these things like that. So
50 years. 50 years.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Dramatic event. At least, maybe 50 or at least 40 years, since the passing of Gwen Stacy. But I don't know. It's hard. Of course, we know Marvel likes to hype things up, and we're hoping that maybe it's done well. But I'm not even trying to speculate who's it's going to be. So I don't know if the rest of our panel has a guess, but I don't even have a good guess.
I do actually, and folks, I know some folks already don't like it.
Who is it going to be?
I would not be the least bit surprised or shocked if Marvel decides, we are going to actually kill off Mary Jane.
I agree with you, Mike.
I can see that. I can see Marvel thinking that, current Marvel.
And here's the thing. They already have a built-in out if in case this fails, and it will, because as we're going to probably get into in our comic book review section, because the dimension that she's in runs at different times like than it does in the 616, they have established that. So if she dies, they could have a thing like, and people get all upset, which they will because sales. And after that happens, then they could have a situation like, okay, how are we going to fix this? Oh, I know. Peter can go back to that dimension, but then he happens to show up before she becomes the discount version of Sarah Connor, like we see in those panels. And then, she comes back to life. Doesn't hook up with Paul. Still don't know his last name. I don't know about the kids, Sarah's thing, but yeah. So
that looks like every bad '90s comic.
Yeah,
it does. Yeah,
every bad '90s comic from Marvel.
Yeah,
it's summed up in that one picture.
I think the headband is what does it.
Yeah, but here's the thing: she's got the armband that's supposed to be part of Spidey's costume, so it's showing like, she still knows the armband. This other guy. Yeah, but I would not be the least bit surprised if they try to pull like the shock theme twist of having MJ get killed. Don't worry, Paul. I think is going to die too because for reasons. But I think it's because I think the thing is I know folks are not going to like this. Right now, in terms of the story thing, it's the only thing that really makes any dramatic sense, because if you just have Paul die, you're sad, Mary Jane. Well, so what? We as the audience don't really care. But if she dies, then all of a sudden, then everything's affected by it, right? And also, you got to remember too is where that Marvel is right now with regards to MJ. They're kind of in a weird place, because you can still have Peter and MJ get back together, but what happened with that is when they tried that with Spencer, the immediate thought of everybody was, are we going to bring back the marriage? Are we going to undo one more day? And Marvel has been multiple times said that we are committed to not reversing those.
Yeah, Sarah's going to talk about that in just a minute.
Yeah.
About that topic.
They are.
Here's what I was thinking. I don't think they have the guts to do it for Mary Jane.
I think they do. And here's why, Brad, real quick.
Well, they tried it in the 90s with Byrne and Mackie.
Yeah, they did. And Byrne and Mackie under Harris, right? They did it, and that was it. I mean, Mary Jane was dead. That was their answer for the marriage at that time. There's just kill her. And it didn't work because she's too popular, and fans didn't let it go. And sure enough, we got Mary Jane back, and then they kept them apart for the longest time. But I think that the current regime at Marvel, I think there's enough hubris there behind Cebulski that Cebulski thinks they can do it better.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where they're coming from. They did this, but we can do it better.
And also to throw on your point, George, too, it's not so much they've separated Peter and Mary Jane. It's like they're emphasizing how not together they are right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is,
And
death is meaningless.
the other thing is
in the
too
Marvel
is, like I said, they could still build this as an event. And then, like, for example, I think a good way to look at this is, hey, they killed off Flash Thompson, and what happened? They brought him back 2 years later. Or
Death is
thereabouts.
meaningless in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, and take what you will from this, but I'll talk more about it later. But when I was at the panel with Zeb Wells and C.B. Cebulski, they had shown the cover to 25, I think. It's a big cover of her face and Spider-Man on the cover as well. And Zeb Wells had made a comment like, "Oh yeah, doesn't she look happy and healthy for now?" And it's like, oh boy, okay, where are you going with this?
Yeah, they are. I mean, if they're not going to kill her off, they're definitely trying to like leave the impression that they're going to do something. I mean,
on the flip side, McNulty, though, on the flip side, they've done a lot of shit before, even recently, where they've spent a ton of time making you think they were going to do something, and then they pull the rug out from you.
That is true.
At the end, and they're like, ha ha.
That is true. I mean, the one thing that gives me pause about this is the fact that they have the variant cover with her with jackpot powers. So if they're trying to make her into another,
I saw that. I was like, boy,
here's my thoughts.
Well, they're strip mining Brand New Day. I'm sorry, Brad.
Yeah.
Here's my thoughts. It has to be somebody big because they're comparing it to Gwen Stacy.
They are.
It's too obvious. It's Mary Jane. So what if it's a long time running Spider-Man supporting character? And who has something coming up in their life that's life-altering that would really hurt Peter Parker and also hurt the villains that go after Peter Parker? What if it's Randy Robertson? He's supposed to get married. What if he's taken out at the wedding and that
I mean, for people who give a damn about Spider-Man and have for a long time.
But what if it's Randy?
That would be two back to back. I mean, the other theory I've seen,
it leads into the wedding though.
Sense. Right. Yeah. But I do another thing I would have that would make sense. Although but I don't think. But again, there's another previously that's kind of killed the idea. If it's Norman Osborn, and because the idea like, oh, he actually redeems himself by actually saving himself by just as he killed Gwen here. Norman dies by saving Mary Jane or something like that. I've seen that theory being banded around.
You okay over there, JR?
JR, Norman Osborn, he dying again? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so because one of the covers of upcoming issue after this story is Doc Ock goes on a rampage through Oscorp.
Yep.
And he's got Spider-Man in one tentacle and the Gold Goblin in another tentacle.
Right.
And just before I lose my train of thought, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, nothing Marvel does surprises me anymore. But the thing is, they keep trying. I mean, Mary Jane and the Black Cat are in a limited series. They keep trying to milk Mary. Well, that didn't sound. I was going to not sound good. But I think they would almost like to give her superpowers and send her off somewhere, and have a new title about her. I mean, that's kind of seems the way Marvel is now. And they're just trying to squeeze one last dime out of everything. I don't think they'll kill her because I think they want to give her a title, just not with Spider-Man. So,
here's the thing, though. I mean, and this is something that they look at what they've been doing with Gwen. Gwen's been dead now for 50 years, closing on 50 years,
and came back pretty quick as a clone.
They won't let that poor girl rest.
No.
Right.
She's never been busier, like the last 50 years after she died.
Well, and as far as the general audience is concerned, Gwen Stacy is Spider-Gwen now.
Because I used to think for the longest time that they wouldn't try to kill Mary Jane off again because she sells variant covers. They'll take Mary Jane and they'll do a whole month where Mary Jane is on literally every damn cover that comes out of the company.
What about the kids? There's a question about the kids. What do you think about that?
My nightmare scenario is MJ dies and she goes, "Oh, please take care of them, Peter," and everything.
Oh God.
And then And it's like, yeah, like they need somebody to look after or something. And
That'd go over like a bad fart.
I was about to say,
Well,
Marvel doesn't want him to be even married, let alone become a single father. That would.
Well, that's what Aunt May's been before. That she can take care of the kids. She'll be taking care
Aunt
of
May's gonna have to take care.
Wait, where would Paul be going?
Let this poor woman rest.
Aunt May, you picking up the kids after daycare? Yeah.
They're going to be changing her diapers instead of her changing their diapers.
Hey, Sarah talked about it. I think this leads into this topic. Sarah, last night I edited the video. Look, I cut you out with CB right here on the thumbnail for you.
Sweet, thank you.
So
not since the Scopes monkey trial has there been a debate of this magnitude.
Oh my goodness.
Here we'll play. So you went to the C2E about what you asked.
Yeah, I went
for Marvel.
Yeah, I went to C2E2 in Chicago over the weekend, and I was able to attend the main Spider-Man panel that was on Saturday. It was about Spider-Man, Venom, and Carnage. And in this video, I ask a question. And the question is, so fans have speculated if there's a marriage mandate for Peter and MJ and that they cannot be married. And I just basically asked, is this true? And CB Cebulski had actually a longer answer than I thought. I was nervous to ask the question because I thought he was going to say something real quick and then be like, okay, get out of here. Like, we're not talking about that right now. But basically he said that it's not a mandate, it's a preference, and that Marvel has always been a fan and talent friendly company, and that for some people Peter and MJ were single, and then for others they remember them as married. And he basically said that if they should be married is not a question they can answer, but something that could change, maybe by Zeb, maybe by someone else. It's not a mandate by any chance is exactly what he said, and in 2 to 5 years something could change. Someone could have the greatest story, maybe Zeb, for why they should be married again if they make it through what's going on currently. But there's no mandate to any character that should or shouldn't be married. It's just where the story takes us and what we think is best for the creative team at the time and what they choose to do with the stories.
Mm-hmm. His answer was very, very, how do I put
diplomatic.
It was a lie.
Yes.
It
was a lie. Oh my God.
You could say it was a lie. Yeah.
When he says preference, my question is whose preference?
Exactly.
Is it his preference or the ones above him?
Exactly, because preference, mandate, it's just a different word.
It is. And he said, no, there's not a mandate. There is a preference. Whose preference is the follow-up question that I wish he would answer. And I don't think it's truthful from what I've seen of if someone writes the best Spider-Man story, I'm not saying Spencer wrote the best, but he got the ring in his hand and he had Mephisto and Doctor Strange talking to each other, and something happened on his last issue, and someone's preference said no.
Right.
And why?
Someone pulled the rug out from under Spencer, just like it was a switch being flipped.
And you know what I thought was interesting is after CB had answered the question, he had said that he would not share his personal preferences. It would get him booed. So I'm assuming that he is not a fan of the marriage, as I'm almost positive a majority of the people in that room were, because
I heard
asked that
pause.
question, people freaked out a little bit.
I think CB has said in the past that he actually prefers Gwen Stacy as the best one, but he also said that he recognizes that the fans' preference is maybe not the same as his. So he is aware. He does acknowledge about that there is a difference between what editorial wants and what the fans want. But in the way he answered this, I think you did ask a great question, sir, about to him. So bravo. I think it's one of those things where you got to kind of have to admit that really it's more about it. Like, again, it's a very, like I said, it's a very diplomatic way of saying this is kind of what Marvel, the company, prefers, as opposed to like there's not like there's not like he says, there's not maybe not a strict thing in place like there was in their joke with Sada necessarily, but at the same time, it's definitely something that's coming from more editorially driven because Tom Brevoort's still there, so there is and
I think a lot of this is tied back into Brevoort, and it's like a leftover from Quesada, and I think as long as Brevoort's still there, we're gonna have crap like this. We're going to have crap where, what the company wants is more important than what the fans want. So we get that you guys like this. Tough shit. We don't care.
I like what Jonathan says. It's like when politicians say fees instead of taxes. It's another word. Preference, mandate, same. I think it's the same concept.
Yeah.
Bruce, what do you think?
Well, when he said, that was interesting when Sarah said, well, I'm not going to give my opinion because I'll get booed. Well, you just gave your opinion.
Exactly.
And that's
that was kind of interesting that he would say something. That sounds like a politician too.
Well, he's also the editor of a company too. I mean, he's not like he's going to say,
careful.
and he's not going to like flat out say like, oh, like he's trying like, I mean, he's not a Bill. Let's say, face it, he's not Bill James. I mean, if Bill James was up there and he was still around, he would probably like,
Bill James would have just flipped people off.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was Jameis. Jameis just be like, nah.
So, in our speculation, do we think CB doesn't want them married, and the people above him don't want him married? Is that what we're suspecting?
I think
That's what I think.
Yeah, I think CB doesn't want them married because the people above CB don't want them married.
Right. Because remember, I think because if you think about it with the way they view Spider-Man, and I think this is also reflected at Disney and even with Sony. They see Spider-Man as somebody who is supposed to goes back to be like the younger superhero type. And remember, there's that whole thing, like if we have a married superhero that makes him seem older, and they even though they can still do something like variants like we see like into the Spider-Verse. Oh, you have a Spider-Man who's married with a kid, or you have like they had with for example, we had the Lost Hunt series that came out. A married Spider-Man in that with a pregnant Mary Jane. So I think it's okay. I think they can still do avenues like there, like as long as it's some kind of like an offshoot title or spit, like a little thing. Like
they don't want the main book.
They don't want the main book, but they can do it in other series if they want to.
I think because the way McNulty explains this is it always, and I've always wondered about this, and JR probably has too. I've always suspected that really it probably originally came from Perlmutter. And that Perlmutter was like, no, because of this, and this, and it has to be this.
Well, that's the end of him.
And then Quesada, who was technically under Perlmutter, as was everybody else, said, okay, well, I guess that's what we're gonna think too, because we have to. But then he went out and oversold it in interviews. Well, I remember my uncle was really cool, and he had a motorcycle, and he was like Fonz, and then suddenly he got married, and he wasn't cool anymore. And I'm sitting here listening to all that, and I'm wondering how Quesada's wife feels. Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry.
Well, he was going through a divorce at the time. I think it was Quesada.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
and I think it's just lingered around Marvel like a bad fart. And so the stink of it is still there, and people are still affected by it. Brevoort probably most of all. So yeah. I think we're dealing with the link with like a
the lingering
somebody. Yeah. Ike Perlmutter crop dusted Marvel, and we're all still dealing with it.
Well, that should be on a T-shirt, evidently. JR, thoughts before we move on?
You're muted.
You're muted, JR.
You're muted, buddy.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I didn't want anybody to hear me chomping on food like George was doing there. So.
Oh, dang!
Now, as much as it pains me to disagree with my good friend and fellow curmudgeon George, I don't think it came from Mike Perlmutter because. Based on the book Comic Wars, for example, Perlmutter didn't even know didn't care about any of these characters. All he cared about was the toy license for Marvel. He had never read a comic book. He didn't care about it. All he cared about was the license. And it was Avi Arad that actually liked and cared about the characters. I think, and Perlmutter, I mean, he did get his, he was all up in arms about the X-Men and Fantastic Four, but I don't think he had anything. I think it was Quesada and this group of, well, that's not the Spider-Man I read, or that's not how I want it. I mean, just it's a very petulant type thing. But I think now it's also part of this broader, kind of like when I was talking about the pop culture apocalypse. I think creators today are just, they don't want us as fans. They consider us all I don't know, I was going to say they consider us all, quote unquote, a variation of Trump supporters, but that sounds stupid. But they don't like us. They want new fans. They want fans that are people that they like, that they would hang out with. So they want to get rid of us, and they don't see themselves as custodians of an IP, like, people used to. It's like, oh yeah, I've got this great IP with this history, I better take care of it. And they don't see that. They see is that, well, that old IP is flawed, it's wrong, and we are going to fix it, and we're going to do it better. And so I think part of it is that pettiness of not willing to give in, and also just the broader culture of, screw these old fans. We don't want them. We don't need them. And we're gonna find that elusive new batch of fans that we like,
who aren't showing up, by the way.
who aren't showing up. Exactly.
We have a comment from Mary. It says, Sarah, you did amazing, taking it straight to the editor and forcing him to face the music. So there you
Thanks,
go.
Mary.
Good job. And you had another comment you wanted to say, Sarah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I did. So I talked about the question I asked, but I didn't talk much about the panel itself at all, actually. So the panel was about the upcoming Amazing Spider-Man comics and the upcoming Venom and Carnage events for the summer. C.B. Cebulski was there. Obviously, we've been talking about him. Zeb Wells was there. Sabir Perzada, I think is how you say his name, artist for Cult of Carnage Misery, which is coming out. David Pepos, writer for Extreme Venomverse, that's coming out. Devin Lewis, who's Venom editor, and Alex Packnadel, who will be working on Red Goblin. They shared information about the upcoming 24 through 26, ASN 24 through 26, and we saw covers up to 31. They discussed how we'll have several larger books, and we'll find out exactly what Peter did. And everything was kind of vague and not really actually helpful. So I guess we'll just have to find out when the book comes out. Mm-hmm. But obviously that's on purpose. There's many things that they can't share, especially with the editor-in-chief there. Right. And then they also mentioned the 10th anniversary of Superior Spider-Man. And then they proceeded by showing the covers to ASM 27 and 28, which feature Doc Ock on the cover. So I don't know what that means, but I guess we'll see.
I didn't put this in our rundown, but I want to show it anyway. You took some Crawlspace love pictures where you printed off a big sign that I love the Crawlspace and the cosplayers, including our friend Donovan, who used to be on the show. It was cool that you got to meet him. And
cool. He came up after the panel.
Yep. And we also have T-Rex Spider holding the sign. Love the Crawlspace.
And I asked him, he has both of the Spider-Rex costumes.
Oh, wow.
There's a Venom one, right? And there's
there's a Venom one.
Yeah.
There's a Venom version of it, yeah.
And there you are, Spider-Punk in front of the C2E2 logo. And you got a Miles there. Last Stand Spidey, looking good.
That is okay, yeah.
You got Ben when he was cool. And Spider-Gwen.
That's funny.
Good looking Mysterio there too.
Yeah,
that is
actually pretty
how's that dude see?
I don't think he could. He was at one of the artist booths. Now I don't remember his name because there were so many artists there. I should have taken it down. But good
looking costume.
There's also a photo that's being thrown around on the internet of him with Chris Evans at C2E2 too.
Oh, how neat!
Nice.
Captain America versus Mysterio. We've never actually seen that fight, have we? I don't think we have.
Nope.
Check out Female Ock. That's awesome looking.
Oh, I like this.
Those lights are cool.
That is actually cool that you put it the way they put.
I saw a Doc Ock cosplayer once, and they used the thing that comes out of your dryer, the little circular.
Oh yes, yeah.
They used that as Ock's arms. I thought that was kind of fun. We got. Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland costumes. It looks like here. That's looking good. And we got Deadpool, and Sarah, and two Spider-Punks.
Another Spider-Punk.
Nice. And Venom. Let's let's see. We
Oh,
have a
that's
Spider-Man
that's
3
impressive.
costume, looking good. And there we go, and
Mhm.
Donovan again. So thanks for taking those pictures. Those look so cool.
Of course. I also saw
Mhm.
a question on the thing by MJWP. Can I describe what the covers for 29, 30, and 31 look like?
Oh yeah.
Brad, I can send you a picture right now if that would be helpful.
Sure. Put it to me on. I swear you sent it to me, and I don't have it easily available.
I just sent
but-
you 29 and 30, and then here's.
Okay, here we go. Let me pop that up. 29 and 30 of Amazing Spider-Man, what they look like. Okay, so I guess one is a variant cover, and there's 30. Another one has Tombstone and Spidey with a bunch of guns on it. Is that
I
it?
just sent that to you. That's 31.
Okay, let's look.
Yeah.
So I don't
'Cause I
have to
think one-
describe it.
'cause-
You can actually see it.
See it, yeah. Because I think one of those is supposed to be like is hinting at, of course, the upcoming wedding between Randy and Janice, right? And it's that.
Literally a
Mhm.
shotgun wedding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
My Facebook is loading.
But
yeah.
while you're
Here, I got it. Here it is. There
Okay,
it is.
you got
There's
it, okay.
31, right? And that's
Yeah.
the 925th legacy issue of Amazing, and comes out in August.
so that should
that's
be a
the
big book.
Mm-hmm.
Well, will it be a big book, or will it have like 15 backups to make you pay $10?
Yeah.
Oh,
You know?
yeah.
Good point. Good point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maybe a
Okay,
30,
yes.
40
Wait,
pager.
Sarah,
see
did you
another-
properly acknowledge your photographer?
JR, I just saw it. Thank you to my mom for taking some of the pictures as well.
Thanks, Mom. You did great.
Also, can I show off a couple of things that I got at C2E2?
Absolutely. Go ahead. What'd you buy?
Okay. The first thing, so
I'm going to
this
full
web
screen you so we
shooter.
can see it.
This
Oh,
web
what's that?
shooter. This is
That's
the web
from,
shooter.
Ooh, that's a
from,
web shooter. Cool.
No Way Home. It's the one
Mhm.
Doctor Strange like magics it and does stuff, and then he webs the people into the containment areas.
Yeah.
So I got that, and it's wearable and everything, so it's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Oh, that's nice.
like it.
But the biggest thing I got was this.
Whoa.
50-year-old comic, man.
Yeah,
Love it.
I'm so excited.
Are you
Now,
on the
question-
hunt for 122 now?
Well, I saw it there, but I just couldn't. I couldn't buy it. I couldn't do it.
And Bruce,
Okay.
you brought a few comics from Bruce too, didn't you? Didn't you get a
Yes.
Hobgoblin? I think.
Yeah,
Bruce?
I got Hobgoblin. First appearance, the Hobgoblin.
Yeah, and it
And
has the
set-
tattoos in it, right?
Yes,
Has
it
the
does.
tattoos, Brad, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I was dumb and ripped them out in my book in the 80s.
You weren't dumb. That's what you were supposed to do as a kid.
Oh, I know. I put them on. Yeah.
One was a cherry and one was a spider. That's what the tattoos were.
Oh, that's cool.
Ooh,
Did they
nice.
apply? Yeah, that's cool. Ryan says I be jelly. There you go. All right. Let's see. We have about an hour to get through the rest of the topics. We aren't going to talk about them as long as we have the other ones. We're going to do fun stuff, but who's got this one? Sarah. Well, no, let's do Bruce. Bruce has got this next one. It kind of leads. We kind of actually talked about it already a little bit, but we can do more speculation. Marvel sent out this Fallen Friend #1 comes out May 31st. Bruce, what's your thoughts on this? It's not much to go on.
Yeah, there's not much to go on. I don't know if it directly ties into what we're going to see in Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 25. It well could be, and that's like when you folks were all speculating about who was going to maybe die, and this is called Friend. So I kind of that to me eliminates MJ if this is tied in, or might point to Robertson Boy or maybe maybe somebody else. I don't know what. I mean, it's hard to tell, but
Well,
there's
it isn't
got so many
Mary
irons
Jane
in the
because
fire right now.
it doesn't say Fallen Sister.
Right,
Like-
Fallen Sister. She's like a sister to me. She's like a sister to me, Black Cat. Yeah, she didn't like that one too much. So
Brad, that
Oh,
should not have been
God.
when I was taking a drink, Brad. That
Oh,
was
I'm
not
sorry.
cool.
Sorry, spit take. You got it all over on George's head. He's right. The cam's right below you.
Sorry.
Fallen Friend.
Anybody got any speculation? We've kind of talked about it.
I've heard something think it's something that's tied to Captain America. Like it's like since it says instead of like 'cause it goes back to Fallen Son, but this is Fallen Friend. So I don't know. So there's that. There's some people. There's some commentary about that. Like this is some maybe they're thinking Sam Wilson or something. I mean, that this is like this is maybe Spider-Man unrelated or something. But I mean, I've seen that thing. But yeah, it's so vague. It's like it's one of those things. But it just so happens to coincide on, I think, ASM 26 that not naturally we're taking the, we're obviously making the obvious link there. So, but
Mr. Comic says it's probably Paul sacrificing himself to give save Peter and Mary Jane so they can
and
be together.
And it's like, oh, shucky darn. So.
Jonathan says Betty Brant trips and falls. There you go. Fallen friend.
Yeah. Just falling and she can't get up.
Oh yeah. Well, that would be an Aunt May issue, actually.
There'll be a Life Alert
Yeah, the
product
Life Alert.
tie-in. Yeah.
This Stark. I've fallen.
Be a sponsor.
My Star, my
Marvel
Stark
Universe.
Life Alert.
Life Alert in the Marvel Universe is produced by Tony Stark. You hit the button, the armor falls on top of you, and then you fall on it, so you don't hurt yourself.
Yeah.
That's the Life Alert. There you go.
Very useful.
Sarah, you got this other one. George, I thought about giving it to you, but it involves Slott.
Wow. Wow.
Tell me about Spider-Boy.
All right, Spider-Boy with the alter ego name Bailey is a new character created by writer Dan Slott and artists Humberto Ramos and Mark Bagley. Although I'm not entirely sure because I've read that it's just co-created by Dan Slott and Humberto Ramos, but then Mark Bagley's name's in there, so I'm not entirely sure. But that is to debut in this week's Dan Slott Spider-Man 7. So if you haven't read that, you should check it out if you're into that sort of thing. However, this character apparently... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Fred.
Does it explain? Because I haven't read 7 yet. Does it explain who this cat is?
Nope.
Oh, it's
nope,
just
he's there. He's a thing, and then he. Well, do you want me to? Should we save that for the
satellites?
Movie? Yeah.
Spoiler: she's about to tell us, and I don't mind hearing what it is. Does anybody else mind who this cat is? All right, tell us what you know.
Okay, so he appears in the book as brought back from Moreland being stabbed or cut with that Spider-Verse dagger thing. Right. And so you see several people appear, and then Spider-Boy is one of those characters that appears. And what we learn...
Moreland spewed all the spider people that he ate?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Exactly. I'm not going to say who else was, but Spider-Boy is one of them. And... it's interesting because we find out that the character is from Earth 616 and he is not remembered by Miles or Spider-Man. And he's talking to Miles and Spider-Man like, hey, bro, you guys should remember me. Like, we went on so many adventures together. We did this, we did that. And so he gets mad and he swings off. And the other Spider
people
like
the Sentry. Sentry was.
Yeah,
don't remember.
Is this like Slott aping Paul Jenkins?
Paul Jenkins, yeah.
Could be, but he swings off and then that's all we hear about it. But from what I've read, it seems as if he has these strange new spider powers, but we don't know what those strange or new powers are. And then I do know that we also this character Spider-Boy has made some type of sacrifice for Peter and Miles that they don't remember. And we won't know his origin story until June in Edge of Spider-Verse 3.
Oh, okay. Bruce, what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, a few months ago, Brad, I kind of fell back in love with comics again. You know, I'm big into the memorabilia, but I started watching Instagram shows where guys like behind me, you see this little wall of comics and they sell comics. So I've been buying comics, and I also always made a vow that I've never buy the variant covers. You know, I just couldn't afford all these covers.
Man.
But I'm starting to fall in love with some of the variant covers now, unfortunately. But
it's a trap.
Yeah, I know that cover that you just saw there, guys. That book is selling out in news stands or whatever, comic shops, and I think it was under ordered. And that book, if you can grab that cover, it's going for pretty nice money on the resale.
How much?
market.
$30-$40? What?
It's about a $40 book right now. Yep.
Seriously?
And it just came out on Wednesday.
Yeah, but how long is it going to stay that price when the full story comes out and everybody realizes this is a nothing burger?
Right. So you got to sell it now. Buy and sell, guys. Buy and sell.
Buy and sell it now.
Okay, go ahead.
I order my books 3 months ahead, and I never understood why Marvel gives issue covers with no picture. It says picture coming soon.
That one was a spoiler cover, Brad.
That one was a spoiler.
That one was a spoiler.
I can understand why the shortage is low.
Yeah.
On that one.
Yeah.
But I picked the standard because I like Mark Bagley. I bought the standard one.
I did too. Yeah.
Yeah.
That and retailers
Mike,
probably retailers probably aren't. I'm sorry, Mike. Let me throw in
but
this real quick. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Retailers probably aren't willing to risk buying as much of this crap as they used
Right.
to.
Yes,
I agree.
You know, just because they've been burned before, they've been burned by Slott saying, "Oh, you're going to want to buy this. It's huge. Trust me. Please, please let me have a legacy other than ruining Spider-Man."
So so here's the thing. When I first learned about Spider-Boy and about like who he was and everything, my initial fear was, oh no, this is going to be Dan Slott's take on the kid who collected Spider-Man. That was going to be that kid that was actually going to be Spider-Boy. That somehow he survived cancer and got
Oh
spider powers.
no! Don't ruin that. Don't ruin that story.
Thankfully, it's not. Thankfully, the kid in the kid who collected Spider-Man's name was not Bailey. So it was so yeah.
I like it. It's like Michael Bailey. It's called Bailey.
I could see Slott trying to do that though, McNelton.
Yeah, and that's what was my biggest fear when I heard this about this. Like, oh no, is he actually going to touch that? Like, thankfully, that's not what this is. That he's not doing that thing. But yeah, so I think it's like he said, it's essentially his take on the century, except it's Spider-Man. So.
Thank you, Brad, for pulling up that picture because I found that because I am not blocked by Dan Slott on Twitter, and I found that on his Twitter, and I thought it gave a better view of the character because on the cover you can't really see a whole lot because he's in a spider pose doing Spider-Man things or Spider-Boy things. So I did want to say that this costume reminds me a lot of Miles as far as the way the blue and the red is set up. As well as the spider on his chest. But I do wonder, like, what do these extra eyes on the side of the mask do? Because they have to serve a purpose. Well, I hope they serve a purpose. And then I wonder what this spider on the back, because it doesn't look like a logo, right? It doesn't look like something that's on the back. It looks like something that's attached to him. Like, I don't know if it's something that carries his things, something as simple as that, or something more. Or maybe it's like, I don't know, wings or something. I don't know. What?
It's probably like that drone thing in that one that Star Wars video game, that bot thing that climbs off the guy's back or something. I mean, that's what that was my first instinct.
We need a spider bot.
We need a spider bot. Yes, it's a little portable spider bot that's on his backpack.
Need it.
Sarah, make it stop. Sarah,
okay. All right. Sorry.
It's too
Here,
much.
let me pull this up. I got a press release from Marvel saying that the book is going into a second print, and they got a new picture of Spider-Boy on the cover. Let me pull up that email. Okay.
Oh, they do. That's awesome. I hope it's a better one.
There you go. There's it's a variant.
No, that's not.
Or
That's
a
not
second
better.
print.
It's a thing that's happened.
No, but it's a thing that happened.
Because
JR, we didn't hear your
didn't
thoughts
have
on
enough
Spider-Boy.
characters.
Well, JR, Spider-Boy, excited?
Well, yeah. Well, you know, it was. I was actually in a shop today, and I overheard the owner. He was talking to somebody else because they were going into the back looking for something, and he said, "Yeah, the only variant I marked up this week was Spider-Man 7." So, you know, it's
a again, just like the 90s.
You know, why? You know.
Here's another why leading again into you, Mike. You got this one. It's the summer of the symbiotes. Tell me about this, Mike.
Another one of
I don't give a shit. I'm not buying nothing but Spider-Boy.
Yeah.
We've moved on, JR. We've moved on.
Yes. So moving on from trademark Spider-Boy, aka trademark infringement man, because if you remember, Spider-Boy was actually an amalgam character. We are now moving into yet the glory days of where everybody and their grandma got a symbiote. That like in Venomverse, Edge of the Venomverse, King in Black, Attack of the Symbiotes, or whatever it is. Now we're getting the Summer of Symbiotes, aka SOS, because Marvel needs all the help it can get in order to sell this event. So as you can see, they decided to do like a classic 90s pit up where they basically look like they're all wearing their symbiotes are like variations of swimsuits. So essentially,
Well,
although
they're
you
going off
think
the
about
Jim
two
Lee.
parts,
I
like,
think I
wait,
put it
they're
when-
all naked technically.
This
There
is
you
the
go.
this is the new swimsuit issue.
Yeah,
this is the
they're going off
swimsuit
that
issue.
issue from the
So
90s.
essentially, what it is promoting various. Yep, exactly. And so essentially, what it is it's basically tying into the next big symbiote crossover where they have all these variations of symbiotes, including Misery, aka Liz Allen, gets a symbiote. We also have a
Oprah
Black
gave her
Cat
one.
version of. Yeah, we also have a Black Cat version of a symbiote character from an alternate universe because hey, we got to tie this into another Venomverse-esque kind of thing. And of course, you have a different, like it ties in Red Goblin's going to be part of this thing, and you got of course more, something about Cletus, more Cletus Cassidy and Carnage. And I think there is one called, I think it's not Mayhem. There's another guy that's coming in with has like multiple symbiote heads. What was
Madness.
Chaos
Madness.
or whatever his name?
No, his
Madness.
name's
Thank
Madness.
you. Madness, yeah. That he basically has like multiple symbiotes heads on himself. Like he's like it's like basically a symbiote hodgepodge or something. So
Do you know how that
and-
happened?
Bad writing?
Well, yes, yes, but it's a it's a past story of Venom eating toxic sludge. So yeah, bad writing. But that's where
that one.
they talked about that in the
Bad
panel
writing.
too. But I didn't want to talk about it.
Right.
Doesn't
It
that
was
happen to all of
topic.
us from time to time, guys?
Yes, yeah.
George, you got it.
Basically,
You're right.
Yeah. So essentially, what this is it's tying into, of course, the current Venom run, which essentially somehow the symbiotes are basically connected. It's like all the symbiotes are somehow like connected to different, multiversal time travel shenanigan things, as I'm sure as Tyler can attest to every time you watch the satellites
I'm
and
excited for this.
you think. But yeah, it's this is one of those things where I guess we got to milk. It's time for to milk Venom once again. I guess because I believe there is something Venom related that's coming up this year, like an anniversary type of thing. So hey, why not? Figure we might as well go ahead and do it. So,
Mike, you got this next topic too. Uncanny Spider-Man. What's
yes.
this about?
Okay, so we have, of course, if
Is
you've been
that
following the
Cable
X-Men-
in the center that's buns up?
Yes, that is Cable.
Here,
Yeah.
let's
the
zoom
hell?
in on Buns Up Cable.
Yes, that is Cable.
Where are
David
you,
Bacon,
Cable?
yeah,
Face down, ass up.
face
Cable.
down, face down.
There he is.
Going, yeah, there he is.
Wow.
Keep going.
Wow.
Keep going. Face down. But,
Wow.
I think that might. I
Talk
don't know
about
if you
Buns out,
guys-
buns out.
Talk about
Buns
cutting
up.
the cord.
Yeah.
Poor, he has no cable.
Yes.
Ignominious defeat.
Yeah. But as you can see in this
jeez.
in this nice little pinup thing, this is supposed to be tying into like what they're calling the fall of X, or the fall of Krakoa, finally, because
Finally.
as you've been following the X-Men, basically basically all the mutants are on Mutant Sex Island, and basically
What the
where they
hell's
basically
Spider-Man
cannot
doing there?
die.
What is Uncanny Spider-Man? What's this about?
Oh, I'm going to get into that. This
Did
is
he
what
show up
there's-
to kick everybody's ass? Because that's the only way this makes sense.
Well, it looks
Well,
like Cable's
here's-
ready for it to happen. I mean,
well,
Me next,
here's-
says Cable.
Well, here's what I think. There's two theories. There's two schools of thought of what the Uncanny Spider-Man is going to be. It's either going to be another Miles Morales book, or it's Nightcrawler. And the reason why there's some people thinking it's Nightcrawler is because there was that timeless one shot for this year with involving Kane the Conqueror, and they had all these different images of what was coming up. And one of them was showing Nightcrawler in a Spider-Man like costume. So the speculation is that Nightcrawler takes on a new spider, basically becomes another Spider-Man.
Oh, for
what
God's
the
sake!
heck? What?
What?
The tail?
Yeah.
Is he going to tuck in the? That sounds weird. Is he
No,
gonna
the
tuck in
tail's out.
tail?
He's not
The
going to
tail-
tuck it back. He's not. This isn't Silence of the Lambs, Brad. Goodbye, horse.
Stop!
Yeah.
Stop!
That
I
is-
gotta go. I'll be back.
Okay.
Vomit?
Yo, but that is a speculation I've seen sometimes that this is actually
That's
that this is maybe
Nightcrawler, huh?
hinting it's hinting that Nightcrawler taking on Spider-Man, becoming another Spider-Man.
I love how Professor X is there, like holding his head. Like, when did this all go wrong? Oh, I know.
Yes.
When Chris Claremont left.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Initially the idea was with this is technically this should have ended when Hickman left because the whole Krakoa set. But what happened was the folks at Marvel were like, no, we got to keep this going because it's popular. Even though if you actually read the X-Men books, they're kind of implying that, hey, what's going on with Krakoa is pretty messed up and probably not necessarily a good thing.
I've been reading X-Men since the 90s. No, 80s. And I've
Yeah.
stopped reading it. It's unreadable.
Right.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
George, I'm not buying crap.
You're still buying Spider-Man. You are buying.
Well, yeah, I buy Spider crap, but I can't X crap.
Yeah, and
Red
I
crap.
guarantee,
Green crap.
Brad, everyone here, I'm going to say this now, Brad will buy every one of those idiot summer Venom things.
No.
I mean, I'm going to
cutting
buy
back.
every one of those idiot summer Venom things because I'm
cutting
actually really
back.
excited about it.
Yeah, but Sarah, you don't understand. Like when I used to do when Satellites was just me and Brad.
Yeah.
Okay, for the longest time, I would literally ask, "Why do you buy this crap? Why do you do this to yourself? You will spend money on anything."
Yeah, and then I came to my senses a little bit. However, I'm buying the Liz Allen Venom book. Yeah,
They're bringing Eddie Brock back.
yeah, I'm down. But that Venom book currently sucks. All right.
But you'll still buy it.
I know.
See,
JR, any thoughts on the X people?
I don't give a toxic sludge.
All right. So let's go to the funny. Let's bring the funny. George, you've got this next topic about a house in New York City. So let's take me through this one.
All right. So, back in '89, and I don't know what issue this is because I don't think that the article mentioned it, and I certainly don't remember it. But apparently, when Peter and Mary Jane, I guess when they moved out of the apartment building,
It's
and then
315, 316.
isn't that back when they moved in with Aunt May? Yeah, that's back when they moved in with Aunt May. And so in this comic, it says we've moved Peter and Mary Jane Parker. We're now at, and then it lists an address, 20 Ingram Street, Forest Hills, New York, etc. And so when this happened, the people that lived there started getting letters to Spider-Man. And actually, there was actually this actually made like TV news too. I remember seeing this on one of the cable channels. So yeah, this woman, Suzanne Parker, started getting the letters at this address, and at first she thought it was a prank. And they actually show a picture of the house, and I'm like, well, if that's where Peter and Mary Jane moved in, they were living pretty swanky. That's a pretty nice house.
Mm-hmm.
In New York, that probably cost $4 million. But yeah, one of the letters that they got, they show it here on the New York Post website. To Amazing Spider-Man, dear Spider-Man, no hyphen. Sorry, Brad. I think you are the best superhero. I was wondering if you could send me a real Spider-Man mask. I'm 9 and in 3rd grade, and I'm I don't know what this is, COH. And then he writes awesome, and then he crosses it out and then respells it again wrong.
I am the awesome one.
Awesome one. I am the awesome one, but secret nerd.
Secret nerd.
And I wondered if this is from McNulty. Please write back. Please write back for got to tell you my name's Clay.
Yeah.
Or forgot to tell you my name. Yeah.
Clay. Yeah. I
I
forgot to tell you my name's Clay, aka Spectacular
Sincerely.
Spider Nerd. Mike McNulty.
That's so cute.
So yeah, these folks just collect them and they have them up on a board. But I just thought it was neat. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The issue, I think, that is issue 315 and 316, because that looks like Venom's hand. Remember when after the first fight, Venom went to see Aunt May?
Yeah, because it's a thumb, and then it turns into like the idiotic symbiote claw thing, whatever.
Idiotic symbiote stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thought on this one, that's so cool.
This has been going on for 30 years now with these people.
What are the odds that Parker's live in that house, though?
Yeah, really.
Well, they did though.
that's
They
really-
moved in. They moved in with Aunt May for a while.
No, I'm saying that the person that actually lives there in real life. not this person.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true. I didn't
Yeah.
even put that together. That's
That's
how
crazy.
on the ball I was. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder, like, if someone at
All
Marvel,
right.
it makes me wonder if someone at Marvel knew them and knew that someone named Parker lived there.
Yeah.
And then did it as a as like a gag or something.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. Makes me, if I'm in New York, I want to go to that house and just get a picture.
I know you, Brad.
Sure.
I know you. You're gonna want to
That'd be
go up there and wait outside the door for the person, just like it's Ditko. You know, like you're lying in wait for Ditko to pop out. Did Brad freeze for anybody else?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he
froze.
froze.
Yes,
for
he
me,
did.
too. Yeah.
Frozen
Yeah.
Brad.
I think he was just stunned into silence, George, by your comments. So,
Brad, are you there? I think
don't know.
I think
I
Brad's
think
time
he's. I
traveling.
think he's.
Can you all
timed
hear
out
me
a little
now?
bit. Yes,
We
we
can hear
can.
you.
Am I back? Am I back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, you are.
Internet's sputtering a little bit on my end.
Mhm.
JR,
You've
we've
been
got
kind
this
of-
next one.
You've been kind of lagging behind everybody, like for a little bit tonight.
Yeah.
I've
Mhm.
noticed.
Yeah, I
Hopefully
know.
it fixes
I don't know
itself.
how to fix it, but yeah.
I think it's
JR,
just
take me
internet,
through
man.
this one, please. Man, is there a lot of pop-ups? Jesus. And I got a pop-up blocker
Mhm.
too.
Yeah, they're getting worse.
the big story. Welcome again to another edition of Spider-Man Crawlspace News, the only news program where we go dumpster diving and pull out the oldest trash and present it as news. This story goes back 6 months to November. Crime-fighting Marvel. Cops dressed up as Spider-Man, Captain America, and Thor smash drug ring in Peru. Which may or may not have something to do with that amazing Spider-Man annual, or was it amazing? Remember, Peter Parker went to Peru in one annual. So anyway, drug dealers thought it was a joke when Spider-Man, Captain America, and Thor showed up at their house on Halloween in Peru. Bafflement quickly turned to horror as they realized they were police officers. The officers had pretended to do a promotion for a Halloween concert when they raided a house and arrested 3 men and a woman on drug charges. So anyway, not only Spider-Man, Captain America, and Thor, but we had a DC Universe crossover because Catwoman showed up as well. The operation, dubbed Marvel, saw the 4 disguised police officers walking nonchalantly down the street while pretending to be doing promotion for a Halloween concert in the San Juan de Lurigancho neighborhood of Lima on Saturday. All right. Police seized 3,250 small packages of basic cocaine paste, a crude extract of cocoa leaf, as well as 287 bags of cocaine and 127 of marijuana. Now, 1 kilo of cocaine paste sells for roughly $380 or 330 squiggly little lines in Peru, while a kilo of cocaine hydrochloride sells for about $1,000, 869 little squiggly lines. So, anyway, what was interesting, though, is if you watch the video that accompanies this story, the police officer says that it was an entire family engaged in the micro-commercialization of drugs. The mother, father, and the children as well went to sell drugs in a nearby park. But during the hours when they were not selling drugs, they went out to the nearby avenues and stole mobile phones. So, once again, justice has prevailed until they, meet their $5 Peruvian bail and get back out on the street and they're starting to peddle the same crap again anyway. So,
I like the one picture
my
where it
gosh.
looked like Spider-Man was like standing on top of somebody holding his package.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
That was
I
great.
just love.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah,
that's what you get for effing with Spider-Man, boy.
F around and find out.
Yeah, F around and find out, Junior. It's past your
Yeah,
bedtime.
look at this. I
Quit.
just love the
I love that.
I know.
That's gonna be my next cosplay.
check out Thor.
I mean,
Hey,
That's
who's
that's
this
a
guy with
thing.
the
You
giant
kinda wonder, how
subwoofer
come
on
the-
his shoulder?
Well, they're going to the
don't know.
concert,
That's
man.
their
The
theme
Halloween
music,
concert.
Brad.
No,
They-
it's the music to bring them in, right? You
Their
need
theme entrance.
superhero music.
Yeah, they're playing they're playing the Avengers theme, like Mark Sylvester thing as they're walking down the street.
And it looks like Captain America left his mask in
Wow.
the sun
Okay.
too long, and it got
I mean,
sun
here's the
bleached.
thing. All I gotta say is, how come other cops in America aren't this cool? I mean,
Can I ask, where did you find this nonsense?
Oh, Sarah. Oh,
That
sweet summer
was-
child.
I know.
Sweet baby child.
Oh,
I have
Yeah.
I have a thing called Google, Sarah. I have a thing.
That's terrifying. You should not be allowed on Google. I'm gonna get that blocked for you.
Brad has
Before-
this
before-
supercomputer.
Before Zep,
Brad has
Oh.
this supercomputer down in his man cave.
Hmm.
It's like Cerebro.
yeah.
And once a night he straps on this helmet
I picture it. I picture this.
and but here's the it's very important.
Come to me, my spider news.
He has to be angry and covered in butter. And then he submerges himself into a pod filled with Mountain Dew. And he tries to achieve a certain level of consciousness, and then the
Sarah, you
Spider-Man
asked.
news just starts coming into his mind.
I did
Come to
ask
me.
him. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Except none of it is current.
Yeah, breaking news from 1997.
All right.
This
George,
Wizard magazine from back in the day.
No,
posted
Wizard
this.
back. This just in from Wizard.
You gave that to JR one year. I remember. And that's where it came from. JR was like, breaking news from 1997.
All right.
I laughed
Our
my
next
ass off.
funny spider headline goes to George. Pro-life Spider-Man.
Why is pro-life Spider-Man funny?
I don't know. Well, this dude's crawling a wall.
He's not
Why
crawling a wall. He's scaling a skyscraper, Brad.
Take me through it. Take me through it.
All right. So this
Downtown
guy,
Phoenix, though, today coming to us.
what is his name? Maison Deschamps, who calls himself
Maison
pro-life
Deschamps.
Maison Deschamps, who calls himself pro-life Spider-Man. He climbed the 40-story former Chase Tower without any ropes, just him and his sneakers. A lot of people are doing this, and this is such a disturbing trend. Like these urban explorers who wind up crawling up these radio towers or giant ass buildings.
There you go.
You know, and they're just doing it, and then they'll take the selfie up there. Ha ha! Here I am on this antenna, and I'm like, please God, don't die. Will you think of where you
Yeah,
are?
no doubt. Look, there he goes.
And people die doing this crap.
Oh, absolutely.
And so yeah, this dude does this to bring attention to pro-life politics, I guess.
I
Anti-abortion.
don't really want to debate the pro-life and
No, I don't
and-
either. I'm just saying
but
that's why the guy's drawing
Yeah.
attention to it, and he's like, "Hey, I'm going to do this because I love babies." So
Here's my question about this,
Yeah.
folks. Did this guy take Neil on his back, as part of his birthday present? Because I mean, after all, we do know that Neil got that theme from Santa Fe about
Yeah,
that Spider-Man
but-
profile thing.
I don't,
But-
I don't think that guy goes 40 stories up though, like this dude.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. But,
Neil is
you know,
about
but, I mean,
50
after all,
feet behind him. Yeah.
right.
And now they've
Yeah.
got a
Here's a
picture
good
of this.
one.
They've got a picture of this guy up there, and he looks like he could be related to Neil.
Oh, here.
Oh,
let,
yeah.
let me see if I've got a picture of him. They
True
have to
story
stick
about
a-
Neil. True story about Neil. We played Call of Cthulhu
Oh.
a while back, and so everyone is going to get the game was set in 1967, so everybody's getting pictures of people from the 60s, as their little playing token.
There he is.
And Neil picks Albert DeSalvo, the midnight the Boston
Boston
Strangler.
Strangler.
Boston Strangler. That's
Oh,
who
my.
he had represent his character. Yeah, this guy, this Chad looks a little like Neil's character from
This
that game.
Chad. Oh my gosh! Look at all these pictures. Well, the
Just
the
see.
guy in the '70s
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
I imagine he probably got taken in too.
But the guy this reminded me of the guy in the '70s Spider-Man
Oh,
TV
you're
show.
talking about the guy with the high wire.
Yeah, but he had wire wires on him. He could. Someone would catch him. This guy's got nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that defeats the
Yeah.
YOLO, Brad.
Yeah.
The YOLO is strong. You can't. You got to go in without a net for the clout, Brad. It's all about the clout these days.
For the clout.
Yeah.
Sarah
It's all about the
says Google is scary when Brad is in charge. Yes. Jonathan says he's climbing the bank higher than the interest rates.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's good. That's pretty good.
I'm scared of heights. There's no way I'm doing that. Anybody
I'm
else
scared of
heights?
inflation.
Oh, I would do that if I had wires because okay, so there's this building in Las Vegas called the Stratosphere, and you can like jump off of it. And I'm gonna do that this summer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wear a Spider-Man costume, not the mask, but everything
So
else is
good.
gonna be great.
Yeah, I'm not
good.
afraid of heights, but my dad is. I mean, he literally can't see certain things like without, and like even if he's not in a high place, it's like without getting like if you see something like high up, like doing like any guys do wire act, he almost feels like it gets vertigo thing. Like that one thing about the guy who was walking the high wire through the World Trade Center thing, which is kind of what this reminds me of. Same kind of thing. It's like if he saw something like that, it's like oh no. It's like So
all right, JR, bring the funny. You ready? We have stolen bicycles.
Next on Spider-Man Crawlspace News, something actually from this year. I warn you, though, this is a story of evil and injustice. So evil and frightening that it will curl the hairs between your ass cheeks. So,
Jesus.
3-year-old Spider-Man bike stolen from outside store in Rockland, Maine. And in order to more appropriately describe the person, whenever the perpetrator is referred to, we will replace it with worthless piece of shit. So, authorities in Rockland are searching for the worthless piece of shit who stole a bike from a 3-year-old. Images captured outside the store on Sunday show a person holding the child, showing a worthless piece of shit holding the child's Spider-Man bike while the child and mother were inside the store. Rockland police are hoping to return the child's bike to him and speak with the worthless piece of shit who rode away with it. The stolen bike is described as having a Spider-Man themed graphics as well as training wheels. Anyone with information is asked to contact Interim Deputy Chief Alex Gaylor. You can also message the Rockland Police Department's Facebook page. And here is the perpetrator. All right. Now, contrary to rumor, Brad Douglas has been cleared because this person has hair. All right.
Well,
whoa! I'm sorry. We're getting an update, boy. We're getting an update here in the Spider-Man Crawlspace news station.
Breaking news here.
Breaking news. Homeless woman steps up to replace stolen bike for 3-year-old boy and inspires a wave of generosity. A homeless woman from Oxford County, Maine, has become a superhero in the eyes of the Rockland Police Department after she stepped up for a young boy whose bike had been stolen. The Rockland Police Department.
And she bought a bike?
Hang on.
Wow.
Now you're trying to spoil the story for everybody. All right. The Rockland Police Department wrote that the 3-year-old left his Spider-Man bike outside a store while he and his mother went shopping, but when they came out to get it back, it was gone and nowhere to be found. Moved by the family's plight, a woman who wished to remain anonymous saw the social media post and felt compelled to help. Despite facing her own struggles, and as another story says, this woman had recently lost her job. She had a choice between making her apartment rent or her car payment. And since her car payment her car debt was co-signed by her daughter-in-law, she chose to preserve her daughter-in-law's credit score and gave up her apartment and was living in her car.
This is life in Cebulski's America.
So the woman selflessly purchased a new Spider-Man bicycle, matching helmet and bike lock at a local Walmart and made the long drive to Rockland to donate it to the young victim. All right. And the woman's generosity was contagious, and others have reached out asking how they can help or they have sent screenshots of children's bikes they have ordered online and shipped to the Rockland Police Department to be given out. And there is a nonprofit, and this is serious, actually, this is real. A nonprofit organization called Mid-Coast Recovery Coalition is raising money for the homeless woman to help her get back on her feet. As of April
wow.
6th, $1,170 has been donated. So if anyone's curious, I believe they can go to midcoastrecovery.com or Midcoast Recovery Coalition. And they have a mailing address in Camden, Maine. Because actually, I did look at the website, and it doesn't go direct. It's hard to tell whether or not if you made a donation, it would go directly to this person. But anyway, hopefully that the worthless piece of shit who stole it will be found one day with vultures having eaten out his entrails. But until then, at least we can recognize this homeless woman's generosity, that even in the face of personal tragedy, she was able to show compassion for another human being. So, and and that's the end of Spider-Man Crawlspace News. Join us again next month, boys and girls, when we present news from the early 2000s.
May this bicycle thief go into the afterlife with no eyes.
So to play off of JR's me finding Spider News that's old, I found something from 2019 I don't think we talked about, so I brought it up. I'll do my Anchorman voice like JR does. It's out of Houston. A Houston Astros baseball player got married in 2019. He could have been divorced by now, but he had a Spider-Man themed wedding. I can't find the player's last name. The article, it says Josh, and he's a baseball player on the Houston Astros. And there are pictures, and he loves Spider-Man and WWE. And who does that remind me of?
Me.
George. So if George was to ever get married, he would have a Spider-Man and WWE themed wedding. So here are pictures from the wedding. Let's take a look till there. Okay. So they had belts printed up of Spider-Man and her on the belt. Here we go. Let's see. Oh, here's the last name. Josh Reddick. Do you know, is that familiar with you, George? Do you know Josh Reddick? Do you follow baseball? Houston Astros?
No, baseball's dead to me.
Okay, well then. These are the shoes that the groomsmen wore. We've got Spider-Man cufflinks. She lifts up the mask. He's got a Spider-Man watch on.
You know, that's one thing I've never had. I've never had Spider-Man shoes. I've had Joker shoes and I've had Batman shoes, but I have not had Spider-Man shoes.
I have 5 pairs of Spider-Man shoes.
He's got the Ric Flair robe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know.
I got the Spider-Man tie and the. There you go. They're both wearing Spider-Man shoes and socks.
Bruce, how many pairs of Spider-Man shoes do you own?
I don't own any that fit me. I have some of my kids' shoes from the old days, but I did wear Spider-Man cufflinks at my wedding, though, 25 years ago. My wife allowed me to do that, and she allowed our wedding colors to be red and blue, but that's as far as we took it.
Oh, that's nice, though.
Yeah.
Let's see.
She recognizes that was important to you, you know?
Yeah.
There's another thing where they come out in WWE outfits. Oh, look at the groom's cake or the wedding cake. That's so cute. I don't know if
you know what would have been fun?
Anyway, look at this picture, George. That's totally you.
Oh,
yep. There's a Ric Flair robe.
That's a that's totally Ric Flair. And you know what would have been fun is instead of throwing rice or confetti, if they just did silly string.
Oh,
you know,
Spider-Man,
like it's webbing, you know?
Yeah, cool.
I should be a wedding coordinator.
That's your new job. That's your
new career.
And in order to emphasize Brad's ability to go out and dig up old news, Josh Reddick earlier announced his retirement.
How many years ago?
So that player got married and got retired.
The key player in the Houston Astros' first World Series championship and multiple playoff runs is calling it a career.
Well, thank you, JR.
He's also still married. He also has kids, by the way.
So they got kids after that. Okay, that's good. All right. Now, Bruce, we're gonna do. Oh, JR, do it in your voice. The Ditko News stuff.
Oh. And now, next from the offices of the Spider-Man Crawlspace, it's Ditko News.
Take me through it, Bruce. Your town
is
having a Ditko Con.
Well, guys, as far as those old stories goes, this is fresh. This is today. It was only announced today officially. but I am on the committee. So I got an email about a week and a half ago that we're having our second Ditko Con right here in the hometown of Steve Ditko, Johnstown, Pennsylvania. The last time we did it was 2 years ago as a culminating event of a 2-month-long exhibit that we had going on here in Johnstown. The fine people at the Bottle Works Ethnic Arts Center, Matt Lamb, he's been the one that's been coordinating with Ditko family members who still live in the area and some even live the whole way across the country. But we've done a couple of things to honor Steve, of course, over the last 2 years. And we're back with a one-day Ditko Con. Some of the family members will be there. And I think a little guy by the name of Bruce will probably be doing at least one presentation. The Spider-Man, Steve Ditko and me presentation featuring on our Johnstown connection. So I'll be helping out as far as planning the event and doing some at least one presentation at the event so far. But we'll be working out the details. But that cool artwork, Matt Lamb just kind of discovered that one. It's kind of celebratory of Steve. But we'll be getting more details coming, guys. But it's a small town event, but it's the only Ditko-centered event for the Spidey co-creator and such a creative guy. I mean, he did so much. The last 2 years, I've learned more about Steve Ditko and his career, and his just being friends with his family is a real blessing to me. But I'm looking forward to that event, and people come from all over just to come to a really small town event. But we talk about Steve Ditko, we honor him, and it's coming up, guys, in September.
On the you can go get a picture next to the only Marvel approved mural that's in Ditko's hometown. You get a picture
artwork there. Yeah, the only outdoor artwork. It's September 30th, Sarah. So make plans to be here, and Spidey and me will be there.
That's awesome.
And all attendees will receive a free copy of Atlas Shrugged.
Yes, Atlas Shrugged.
Now, Bruce, this is an important question. You said you're on the committee.
I'm on the committee.
Do you chair the committee?
I do not chair the committee. Matt Lamb is the chair. He's the one that he's the executive director at the Bottle Works Ethnic Arts Center, and he's the one that's contacted the family and has been connected with them. But so I'm just a ordinary helper.
All right, so you're not able to comment at this time as to whether you're planning to usurp him and take the committee over yourself.
Is there a coup?
I can't give my my reasons for doing what I'm doing because I don't want to get booed.
And it all comes back around.
Yeah.
And our last bit of news Bruce also has. I've got some images of it, Bruce.
Awesome.
So we're at Bowling Green State University.
Yes, I was in Toledo, Ohio, about 3 weeks ago for a convention called Fantasticon, and I did some of my presentations there. And I met a young, not a young guy, but I met a nice man and his wife there, and they saw my presentation. And after the presentation, they said, "Hey, are you going to the Spider-Man conference?" And I said, "There's a Spider-Man conference? What are you talking about?" So he pointed me in the direction of this website. And yes, the Bowling Green State University, their Department of Popular Culture, and they also have a Brown Popular Culture Library on campus there. And they're presenting this conference. It's a 2-day conference, and it's the 29th and 30th of September. So I'm going to be a busy Spidey ambassador because I'm going to try to take part on that Friday and then come back to Johnstown and take part in the Ditko event. But I might have to zoom in for the conference.
I'm about to say, you're going to be busy, dude.
Yeah, Bowling Green, Ohio. I'm going to run out of webs getting around. But this conference it sounds so cool, guys. I mean, I guess back 3 years ago, they did a Batman conference. And what they're hoping to do is to have different presentations, different panels, and it's all free. They kind of have it in an academic setting. They're accepting presentations. They have 30 so far. And the coordinator has been in touch with me lately, and he just wanted to let people know that he's still accepting, registrations for people that want to do discussions of any type. And it could be how Spider-Man has evolved in the cartoons or the video games, or how he's involved in popular culture, or any kind of thing like that. But he's got some keynote speakers lined up. He's got a former graduate of Bowling Green there in Ohio, Mark Sumerak. He was a freelance comic writer. He was on the Marvel editorial team from 1999 to 2003.
Right.
They have Rick Leonardi, who some of you might know. He was the co-creator of the design of the black suit of Spider-Man, and he's still Yeah, yep, and he was big time involved with a lot of the Spider-Man stuff. And at this point, their third keynote speaker is some little guy from Johnstown, Pennsylvania, Bruce Wechtenheiser, who is the foremost ambassador of Spider-Man and a mega Spider-Man fan for over 55 years. That's his title. That's his official title.
Wow.
But
did you spell it? Did you spell everything right when you wrote it? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I think I did. I think I did. But they are still accepting any kind of applications from scholars, fans, and collectors to join in on this event, which is free and open to all. And that even if you don't go to this event, if you ever get close enough to Ohio, their library there, the Brown Popular Culture Library, has like a gigantic collection of comics, like one of the largest collection of comics as far as a library goes in the U.S., over 10,000 comics and different things relating to pop culture. But I was just so intrigued and happy to hear that there's going to be a conference where it's all about Spider-Man. So I'm trying to get some more people there. I'm trying to get Brad involved, maybe at least remotely, because Brad's done such amazing thing here with Spider-Man Crawlspace for 25 years. If there's going to be a Spider-Man conference, Brad Douglas has to be there or involved, at least virtually. And so any of you folks, it'd be great to have you involved in any way, shape, or form, or any Spider-Man fan out there. But
Bruce, you don't want me doing a panel. You're gonna get topics like back when Spider-Man didn't suck.
Hey, that's great. Hey,
you don't want me
any
out
topic. There. We need more topics like that when Spidey didn't suck. But it just is such an incredible opportunity that I'm willing to try to burn the candle as much as I can to get involved with that on a Friday, the 29th, and then back at the Ditko conference con here in Johnstown on the 30th. But please check it out, guys. And it just I'm so happy that they're doing something like this. Maybe in my retirement years I'll have some of these conferences here in Johnstown or something. But right now I'm too busy to pull all these things together. But it's just such a cool opportunity, guys.
Yeah,
it sounds a little like a Bigfoot conference or a UFO conference.
Is it real?
Yeah,
but
is Spider-Man real?
Spider-Man real. There's your opening.
What the government doesn't want you to know.
Well, we're gonna all sit down and write letters to that address in New York and try to contact the real Spidey. And I think the guys from Peru are coming in too. The police officers in the costumes. That's who needs to get on that case about the bike too. Those guys in costumes.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, yes.
They'll catch that culprit. They will catch him.
You're right.
Oh, JR, you had a hat on a minute ago. What's the hat about?
Bowling Green State University Falcons.
Oh, check it out. There it is.
Did you go to school there?
No, I did not. But Bowling Green State University is the alma mater of one Rachel Fettinger.
Oh, your daughter.
Wow.
She got both her bachelor's and her master's there. So I am very familiar with Bowling Green State University. They got a lot of my money.
That's where they bought all those comics, JR, for the library. They used all your money to buy the comics that they have in their collection. But I'm still like, every day I wake up, I have to kind of pinch myself. As you see on the screen, I say I'm living my blessed Spidey life. But Brad Douglas really got the media attention on me back in 2020 for good reasons, not for things against the law.
You didn't rob a bank. You didn't have an old 2018 story that JR read about. So,
Brad,
for good reasons.
Brad's interview got the ball rolling. But 2.5 years ago, I would never thought I'd be asked to be a keynote speaker at a Spider-Man conference, and so I just been having a lot of fun times lately.
Cool, man.
You were lucky, Bruce. That was back when Brad was drinking a lot and going on anti-government rants.
Oh yeah, that was my clone from the 70s.
He was a lot surlier back then.
JR, how far away is that university from you?
A little over 100 miles.
Oh, well, wow.
You got to get there, JR. You got to submit some panels.
JR, you got to go to that conference.
Yeah, you can probably track it there. Yeah.
It's
a 3-hour drive, but yeah, you can probably do it.
Oh no, it's around 2 hours. I can do it in my sleep, but
don't do that.
You should grab Spencer and make a day of it.
Absolutely.
It's hard to pry Spencer away from Michigan. He's pretty content where he is right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's do final thoughts. We got about 10 minutes till the next show. JR, final thoughts on all this spider news that we went through.
Very little of it gives me any hope. The only
And we end where we began.
Oh, it's a bookend.
The only thing that the only bright light is our friend Bruce's contribution to Ditko and Spider-Man in popular culture.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's pretty grim out there, boys and girls.
Hide your bikes.
You gonna go see the movie in June, JR?
What movie?
Good God.
We spent
that's
30
enough.
minutes talking about it.
That answers your question. What movie?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not going to go. Is Willem Dafoe in it? No, I'm not going to go see it.
How do you know? Yeah. By the way, he's up for another Spider-Man movie. You think he should be in it? He's in his mid-60s.
He's in his mid-60s, but I think he can. I think he can take care of himself. To be honest, who wouldn't be up for more Willem Dafoe's The Green Goblin? But as far as I almost, to be honest, after Spider-Man No Way Home, I almost don't care if there's another Spider-Man movie. That almost was like the perfect punctuation to Spider-Man and Spider-Man movies.
JR, you're going to see him in the Secret Wars Avengers movie. Come on. You're going to see Spider-Man. You're going to see Tom Holland, maybe Andrew and Toby in Secret Wars.
Yeah, just like we were going to see him in Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, but we do.
It's not the Secret Wars unless Spidey gets to beat X-Men ass.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well,
It's not.
we still got time to film that. Sarah, final thoughts.
I'm excited for some of the things that are coming out in the comic world this summer. I want to see what Peter did. Want to see what this Madness character is about. Yeah. Want to see Eddie come back.
Like Eddie and the Cruisers?
No, Eddie Brock.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Eddie Brock. Sorry, I should have been more specific.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
George knows what he was doing.
Eddie Money.
Eddie Money. I got 2 tickets to Paradise. They're $3.99. Okay, that was an Eddie Money joke. Okay, no one
back
got
when he was getting big again in the 80s, Brad, a friend of mine told me, he said, I read in an article in one of the rock magazines, Cream or whatever, back in the day, and he was like that Eddie Money used to buy furniture based on how well he could snort coke off of it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Whoa, okay.
And I was like, well, I guess when you got that kind of money, dude, I guess those are things that are important. I don't know.
I
wish I had those
Eddie Money, though. I like Eddie Money.
I like Eddie Money. Yeah.
Me too, man. All right. How did we get to Eddie Money?
I was just going to ask how we got to snorting coke off of furniture.
Mm-hmm.
It's the crawl space. Anything can happen at any time. No other.
All right, Mike, follow that.
No other podcast celebrities like us.
No, I think, I was going to say that, I was going to make any kind of drug-related reference to what's going on in Kurt Marvel, but I guess that's be poor taste now. But yeah, and there is I will admit there is kind of a fascination, almost like trainer of as a car wreck can be fascinating in terms of what's going on in comic-wise is what's amazing. Because I am curious, if we are, if this thing that's coming to happen at 25 and 26 is if it's going to be as shocking as it is be. I'm almost kind of curious, and if it is who we're speculating, I am kind of interested in seeing what the train wreck is going to look like, and then if it is one, then that maybe get a chance. How are they going to fix it? Because that's
I don't think. Yeah. Do they even fix it? Are they compelled to fix it in any way?
Well, that's the thing.
They've shown their line is, well, if you don't like it, tough. This is what we want you to buy, so buy it. By God.
Well, true. And here's the thing. You get to a point where there can be a point where if you get something if you have these guys are at a certain hubris that they think, oh, hey, it doesn't matter what we do, the book's going to sell. Well, sometimes you can get to. That's what they probably thought. That's what they thought back in the day, probably when the Clone Saga hit, and look out what happened there. So. I'm curious. If it does, who knows? It could be, but then again, it could be nothing burger. But at the same time, but I am also pleased with the fact that we do actually have, of course, it's Bruce's convention. And I do think that's a fascinating convention idea, talking about Spider-Man as a pop culture influence, also as a literary reference too.
Yeah.
I think that's Yeah, that is actually because that is something
celebrating the work of Steve Ditko, which is awesome.
right, and yeah, exactly. And it's because I mean, Spider-Man is even. I mean, even though he's a comic book character, he's still an influential fictional character that crosses in different mediums, and so there is a definite. Like you talk about like say like Batman or Sherlock Holmes or any other fictional characters have reached that kind of heights, and so
Yeah, no doubt.
I think that's actually worthwhile.
Yep.
That's very
All right.
very interesting.
Hey,
Yeah.
Bruce,
Bruce.
Is that a machine gun behind you?
Me?
That's some kind of a is that some kind of like
I think
That's a weightlifting bar. That's a
oh
weightlifting-
okay. I
Oh,
thought,
that,
I,
yeah,
thought-
I
weightlifting.
was gonna
It does
say.
look like a machine gun, doesn't
I
it?
know. I was like, oh my
It does
god,
look
is Bruce about to pull a paint job or something like
Yeah,
that?
that's the tombstone cover. I'm on the shotgun wedding, but
Final thoughts, Bruce. What do you got?
final thoughts are, that it's kind of cool that even in this day and age that like Sarah could go to a conference and actually talk to the creators. Back in the 70s when they killed off Gwen and stuff like that, we didn't have anybody to talk to. We had to write letters in and try to voice our opinions that way. But that's one thing. And that Spider-Man conference, guys, any of you could even team up and maybe do something, whether it's in person, they're accepting like multiple people in the same panel. You could do like a Zoom or even something like this, maybe as part of that conference. So something to consider and something to be part of. But, there's all kind of good things happening out there. And don't forget, guys, we can always turn to those police officers in Peru.
I'm telling you, it's
Indeed.
gonna be my next cosplay.
Is that
Mhm.
Mrs. Bruce that was prowling around back there?
That
in your,
was
in your
Mrs.
cave?
Bruce. She just wanted to stop by to give me some information about what's happening in the real world above us.
Tell her
Okay.
we said hi.
I will do that. Thanks, guys.
George, final thoughts. George, I've missed you, buddy.
I've missed you too, and I've missed being around such excellent people
Yeah.
as the rest of you. If you want, I was up because I'm not doing anything tonight, right?
Okay.
So I'm good for coming back for the review show, even though I didn't read
Seriously?
anything.
Okay.
But
Oh, nice.
I'll come back and listen to y'all talk about what a train wreck it is.
Okay.
The show coming up in about 4 minutes. We're going to review the last 3 issues of Amazing Spider-Man. 916 to 918, I think, is what they are. Is it the Legacy?
Yep.
Isn't this the one where Wells brought back
917.
this is the story where Wells brought back a character from 15 years ago that no one cared
15
about?
years
Yep.
ago on Brand New Day.
That no one cared
Yeah.
about anyway. Yeah.
Yep.
And you'll get to see how this actually affected how this influential character actually affected their relationship. Yeah.
I can't wait. It's like being in the doctor's office waiting to have an ingrown hair lance.
Wow. Should we end it there? I say yes. We will be back in a few minutes. Thank you, everybody, for watching. By the way, subscribe and click the little bell. You'll get a notification. I've gotten some messages that are like, I didn't know you guys were live.
Click like and subscribe.
We are.
Yeah, it goes 30 minutes before. If
Yeah.
you are subscribed, it tells you 30 minutes before, and then when it goes live.
And we are about 100 away from 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. So let's hit that 2,000 magic number, and we can get up there. Boom, boom, boom. Can we do it? I think we can. We will be back in just a few minutes.